Hi, welcome to my video on solving money word problem part 2. So these word problems on money are very similar, only we're dealing with nickels, dimes, and quarters, etc. And nickels has 5 cents, dimes is 10 cents in value, and quarters is 25. So let's do some examples. 40 nickels and dimes have a value of $2.80. Find the number of each. So nickels is 5 cents, dimes is 10 cents. So what I'm going to do is change the $2.80 to 280 cents. Keep it all in cents. And what I also do with these is do a chart, a table. So I mark coin here, or coins. I mark the number here, and I mark the value here, 3 columns. So I'll put the first one is nickels here. It saves me writing out dimes, saves me writing out let N be the number of nickels, let D be the number of dimes. So I'm saying that right here. And the value is nickels is N, so 5 cents times N gives me the value. You got D dimes, so that's 10 times D is the value. And I used N and D instead of X and Y. You can use X and Y if you want. Now, let's go back and look at 40 nickels and dimes. So that's the number. So if you take N plus D and add them together, you get 40 from this column. And if you, the value is 280 cents. So the value, 5N plus 10D equals 280. So this is number 1 and this is number 2. So because I have them lined up, I'm going to do elimination. So I'm going to multiply this one by -5. And again, I just multiply this one by 1. So that gives me 2 new equations. -5 times these 3 is -5n minus 5d equals -200. When you multiply by 1, it doesn't change. The equation just keeps the same terms. So there it is. And because I'm doing elimination, I draw a line and I'm going to add. They are eliminated, so I get 5d equals 80. And divide each side by 5. It cancels out to give me d equals 16. So I have the number of dimes is 16, so now I'm going to get the number of nickels. This is find the number of each. So I'm going to sub D equals 16, or sub 16, I could say it this way, sub 16 for D into, and the best one to put it into would be number 1. Into number 1, N plus D equals 40. So D is 16, so I put 16 in the place of D. And N is 40 minus 16, so N is 24. So the number of dimes is 16, and the number of nickels is 24. So that's the first one done. Let's do another one. B, a container has a quantity of dimes and quarters worth $4. The number of dimes is 4 more than twice the number of quarters. How many of each are in the container? Again, I do a chart. I got coins. I got number. And I have value. So the coins are, first one is dimes. And the second one is quarters. So the number of dimes I'm going to represent by D. The number of quarters I'm going to represent by Q. So the value of the dimes is 10 cents times D, 10D. The value of the quarters is 25 cents times Q, so it's 25Q. So let's write see what we have here. The container has a quantity of dimes and quarters worth $4. So that's the value. So we have 10D plus 25, and that's a Q. Make sure 25Q equals, $4 is, I'm going to change it to 400 cents. Because I have 10 cents and 25 cents instead of decimal 10 and decimal 25, I'm going to make the $4 400 cents. Keep it in cents, easier. The number of dimes, D, is equal sign 4 more than twice the number of quarters. So that's twice Q plus 4. So this is number 1 equation. This is number 2 equation. And because number 2 equation is already solved, so I'm going to sub 2Q plus 4D into. Now number 2 is solved, so I'm going to sub it into number 1. So 10D plus 25Q equals 400. That's number 1. And I'm going to sub this in for D. So 10 bracket. So D is 2Q plus 4. Fill out the rest of the equation. Multiply by 10, I get 20Q plus 40. 10 times both of these. 25Q equals 400. And the variables are on the left. And the numbers go to the right. 40 becomes negative when you move it over. So that's 45Q equals 360. And divide by 45. They cancel, give me 1Q. And 360 divided by 45 is 8. Now we have the number of quarters is 8. So I'm going to sub into one of these two equations. The better one to sub into would be this one, because you just put Q in here and you get your D. So I'm going to sub 8 4Q into number 2. So write down number 2. D equals 2Q plus 4. So 8 for Q, so I'm putting 8 in the place of Q. That's 16 plus 4 gives me 20. And now I have Q is 8 and D is 20. So the number of quarters is 8. And the number of dimes is 20. And again, you can check it out by putting these two numbers back in. For D, I put in 20, Q, I put in 8, and see if you get 400 to check it out. We don't have to check this one because we already worked this one out. So we check these values into here to see if we're right. Again, a little bit different than the other ones. The other money problems in the previous video, I didn't do a chart, but this one I did. So now I have 2 for you to practice to see if everything is, if you understand what we're doing. John has a coin box with $4.15 of nickels and quarters. Twice the number of nickels plus triple the number of quarters is 82. Find the number of each. And again, we got nickels and dimes. So the first thing I'm going to do is change my $4.15 to 415 cents. And we have coins. We have the number of coins, and we have the value of the coins doing the chart. So first one I have is nickels, so I put nickels down. And I put quarters down. So I put these in order of how they appear in the sentence. The number of nickels I'm going to call N. The number of quarters I'm going to call Q. So the value is 5 cents times N is 5N. 25 cents times Q is 25Q. So we have two equations. Let's see. John has a coin box of $4.15. So that's the value. So 5N plus 25Q equals 415. The value. Twice the number of nickels plus triple the number of quarters is 82. So that's number one, and that's number two. So what we can do here is already lined up, so I'm going to do elimination. And it's better to multiply this one by -2 and multiply this one by 5. Let's put it down here. So that gives me 10n minus 50q equals a negative 830. And 5 times all of these gives me 10n plus 15q equals 82 times 5 is 410. And n's cancel. So when I add this, I get a negative 35q equals a negative 420. Divide by negative 35. Divide by negative 35. I get q equals, and 35 into 420 goes 12. So now we have to work out what the other value is, because we got to find the number of each. So what we'll do is put down one of these two equations. So I'm going to sub 12 4q into. So the smaller numbers I need to find n. So these are the smaller ones. I'm going to sub it into number 2. So I get 2n plus 3q equals 82. So q is 12. So 2n, q is 12. So I put 12 in the place of q. So 2n plus 36 equals 82. So 2n equals 82 minus 36. So 2n equals, if you subtract that, you get 46, and divide by 2, and n becomes 23. So we have found the number of quarters 12, the number of nickels is 23. So the number of quarters, remember you got to write out what your, so because q and n people might not know, so you got to write it out. The number of quarters is 12, and the number of nickels is 23. And again, if you take these two values right here and sub it into number 1 of a checks, then everything is okay. Number 2, a plastic bank has quadrupled the number of nickels than dimes. It contains $3. How many dimes are there in the box? So notice this time, we're not asking for how many of each, we just want to find the number of dimes. So when they're asking me to find the number of dimes, that means if I eliminate the number of nickels first, dimes will come up automatically when I solve. So we have $3, so let's change it to cents. $3 is 300 cents. So I got coins, I got number, and I got value. So we have nickels, that's the first one mentioned. We got dimes, second one. The number is n, and d is the number of nickels. D is the number of dimes. The value is 5n and 10d, because it's 5 cents and 10 cents gives you the value. And the first equation, let's read. Let's see. The plastic bank has quadrupled the number of nickels than dimes. So quadruple is 4 times There's 4 times as many nickels as dimes. So that means the nickels is 4 times the number of dimes. And it contains $3. So the value is 5N plus 10D is 300 cents. So that's the value, added up to give you 300, and that's the number. And as you can see, this equation 1 and equation 2, equation 1 is already solved, so I'm going to sub 4D 4N into. Number 1 is already solved for N, so I'm going to sub it into number 2. So number 2 is 5N plus 10D equals 300. So 4D is going into place of N. 4D is going into place of N. That's done. So 5 times 4D is 20D. Add up, I get 30D. I divide each side by 30, and D is equal to, cancel out the zeros there, 30 divided by 3 is 10. So I have the dimes is 10. Now I have to get the number, and I don't have to go any further because it says how many dimes are there in the bank. So the number of dimes is 10. Now, if you want to get the number of nickels and check it out, go ahead. But the number of dimes is 10. If you want to check it out, then the number of nickels would be 4 times that would be 40. So if you put a 40 here and a 10 here and work it out, you should get 300. So that's another type of word problem, very similar to the money word problems, the other video that we did. If you like my video, click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell because there's more videos coming your way. And visit my website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content that's on my YouTube channel, Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.